Hello students, today I start the environmental studies and this is the unit card and name of chapter is the ecosystem. So ecosystem itself relates with the environmental science, eco and system. So we have seen various components of the environment. The first one, biosphere related with the plants and animals. Then lithosphere related with the earth component. The third part is the atmosphere. So biosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere. Biosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere. And fourth one related with the water. Water resources, various water resources on our planet. However, still in universe, there may be the chances of available of the water. Water itself is one of the sustainable material for human life. Not human life, but all of the biospheres. Various plants, various animals, all those needs the water. What we have, the thing is there, biosphere related with the plants and animals. That relates with the life sphere. All around us, various life either plants or different animals. That is the part of the botany and zoology. The botany part of the plants, the zoology part of the that concerned with the animals. So biosphere, the second part, litho, earth related various elements, compounds. Whatever the whole periodic table, and out of those 92 elements are the stable one and rest are the not stable. So various elements either in their native form, various metals or inert gases, helium, argon, neon. So the lithosphere concerned with the part of the earth. So we have to see the periodic table in which various groups are there and they form the respective compounds. Those are the inorganic compounds or the inorganic and organic mixture or the organic compounds, different petroleum products, which are also the earth below earth. So rock oils. So that is the part of the lithosphere. Various compounds, oxides, carbonates, sulfates, sulfides, oxalate, various their respective metals. What we have, sodium carbonate, calcium carbonate, no, then oxides, aluminum oxide, silicon oxides, whatever that, iron oxide. So now, lithosphere, then we have the atmosphere. Atmosphere, a layer around the earth, which contains the major part is the air. Air also one of the necessary material for the human sustainability. Oxygen, nitrogen, major component is the nitrogen, which is the inert. Oxygen is the reactive one. But oxygen itself is essential part for the respiration of a human being. So different, we have to see the layers of air around the earth, that is the atmosphere. Here, maybe addition of human activities, some certain pollutants are added. So atmosphere, then we have the fourth one is the hydrosphere. So now the question is there, which one is the most vital material for the human sustainability? Either air, whatever air, oxygen. And oxygen is one of the part of air. And oxygen itself is required for the human being for respiration. Respiration, respiratory system in human being, and oxygen, whatever the role of major role, the purification of the blood. So atmosphere contain number of, along with oxygen, nitrogen, certain other materials are also present in here. Others, suspended particulate matter, carbon, carbon ash, or whatever the natural resources, waste, which are in light in weight, including certain viruses, certain spores, certain dust mites, whatever those, certain very light particles, nanoparticles, microparticles, suspended particulate matter, and that is of the micron level. So now the question is there, we live along with certain materials. What are those essential materials required for us? Air, water, and so many things. Now, may now one more classification for the environment and based on the life is, one component is the living component of environment, where livings are there, lives are there, number of plants and animals. That's it. So another, based on the life environment, is further divided into two components. The first one, the living one, and another is the non-living. I have earlier discussed about the biosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere. So, based on the life, there is livings and non-living. Or living means the biotic component of the environment, the non-living means the abiotic component of the environment. So let's, why though living and non-livings are interrelated with each other. For example, if suppose agriculture is there and the growth of the plant itself is the living part itself is the biotic part of the environment. So that for growth of plant needs certain abiotic components. And what are those abiotic components? Definitely chemicals, related with the chemicals also. Number of chemicals are there, which are the part of the abiotic. So when plant grow, then needs various components, various abiotic components. Abiotic components, for example, different salts needs for the growth of the plant. Number of compounds are essential for the growth of the plant. Now, the question is there, uh, others are the environmental conditions that are also the abiotic, the temperature, one thing, the pressure, another, the geographical issue, altitude, longitudes. So All those are also concerned with the abiotic component. Now, the thing is there, living and non-living, both are related with each other. Both depends on each other. So now we have to come towards the, this is the preliminary discussion about how to reach the topic, and that is the ecosystem. So ecosystem itself, that is very uh, that one very simple definition: interaction of living with non-living and form a system for their sustainable development, for their sustainability. So, I have earlier discussed about the growth of the plant, and the plant itself is the biotic part of the environment, and certain fertilizers, water, certain micronutrients, macronutrients, all those are the abiotic. So, whatever growth of the plant grow, plant taking the food, plants have the leaves, and leaves take the carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. So sunlight is also one of the abiotic component. So they form a system for the sustainability of that particular plant. Similarly, in our life, the human being also depends on the environmental components, different components, including the biotic and abiotic components, including atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. Different plants and different animals, whatever the different foods are because of the biosphere. So one more thing is there. Why this ecosystem is required? The thing is, ecosystem means interaction of living plants and animals with non-living. Non-living means abiotic. The temperature 28 degrees centigrade, 40 degrees centigrade, 55 degrees centigrade, that is the abiotic component of the ecosystem. Pressure, different pressures on the earth. We have to see the sea level. What about the pressure on mountains? Will be the pressure, atmospheric pressure vary. Relative humidity, one of the other abiotic component. Then whatever the chemicals all around us, including the food. Food also contains some of the chemicals. So those are the also the abiotic part. Then with different technologies we need whatever the different metals we required, different compounds we required, different technologies which are totally based on the chemicals. Any of the research work, any of the space work, वो जो है the abiotic component. So the fuel, petrol, diesel, propellants in the space vehicles, propellants. So all those are the part of the abiotic component. Now, the fundamental aspect of ecosystem is we need the energy. So how we get the energy? We need the food. Food is also essential for ourselves. We need different types of foods. Whatever 80,000 types, 80,000 species are diversified for our only for the purpose of our food. Then we have the nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, different nutrient cycles are there. And one more part is the evolution. Very slow evolution part is also concerned. So these are the fundamental part of the. Now what we have, our environment form ecosystem, then we have to see certain producers. Plants are the producers, consumers, various consumers. They take that is decomposers, producers, consumers, and decomposers. Again, so organism, different uh, organisms, different plants and animals. So we have another uh, uh, the class component of the biosphere and environment, the producers, consumers, and decomposers. These are based on the manner in which they obtain their sustenance from the environment. Producers with plants. So plants, whatever all of you know about that, the plant itself is one of the producer of the ecosystem. Why? This make food for us, and food in plants is formed by the process of the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, the producer of the food. Whatever that particular food is produced by the plants, so various plants are the example of the producer. The plants are the factory of food. Why? Because they produce the food. How? I have discussed about that. 80,000 species, either plants or animals. Those needs for the purpose of the food. So certainly plants are also the part of the our sustainability life. So in case of the producers, various plants, number of plants are there. What are those? Various. However, we know about only the food resources. The agriculture produce mainly various cereals, wheats, barley, number of cereals, number of pulses, which are the producer, the plants. So plants they produce the food. How food is produced? How wheat is produced? That is how the mechanism, the basic reaction, the basic chemical reaction of wheat produced by the plant is that in which the inorganic material, whatever those various salts, various fertilizers, they are used for the uh, growth of the plants, for the growth of the cereals. So that one carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere, the water, and as well as some micro and macronutrients, micro and macronutrients. They form the carbohydrate in the leaves, and leaves of plants are further converted into the fruit, and then we get the wheat, whatever that. Similarly, various examples of the fruits are also fruits, mango, banana. These are the fruits. So, producer, producer as a production, as a industrial production, various foods are produced by the producers. Dry fruit, fruits, vegetables. In case of the vegetable, we got the that particular is necessary for human growth. So the question is there, producer is the part of the ecosystem. Now, producer also form an ecosystem also. Why? Because of the they also interact with living and non-living. They also interacts with biotic and abiotic components. Different minerals from the fertilizers from the soil, as well as certain other animals, biotic part. Whatever, when we have to see the different microorganisms, those are also present around the crops, around the plants. Either they damage or they uh, damage the plants or they help the symbiosis. So ecosystem they also form. So in case of the producer, there is also the consumer, there is also the decomposer. Lastly, the plants are decomposed, and these producers are eaten by the consumers. Now we have to come towards the consumers. Various consumers are available. Main itself, whatever those uh, um, feeds on the plants and animals, those are the herbivores. Then the carnivores. Carnivores, those are also the consumers. Carnivores consumes the various animal parts, the meat, the different animal parts which are used by human being, which are not human being, by used by another animals. So primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary consumers are there. There are, in case of the consumer, four layers are there. Primary consumer, herbivores. Secondary consumers, then the carnivores, then further carnivores, then further carnivores. So lastly, primary, secondary consumer, tertiary consumers, and quaternary. Now, the nature have given one concept also. All the life, all the life, either plants or animal, they have the age, the life span. For example, for human being, 100 years. This is the life span of human being. The life span of various plants, 4 months, 2 months. Then what happened? They died. Various animals also died. This is the decomposition of either plants or animal or whatever the decomposition of life. What is the life? Unit of life is the cell. The cell will damage, then the totally all of will be damaged. So the question is the third part, the first producers, consumers, the last one is the decomposers. So all things, I'm sorry, all organisms, all individuals, organisms are the life, life, and they form a different species to different species. All those are the thing is there. Whatever the elephant, life of elephant, life of tortoise, the aquatic animal, life of a mosquito, life of a butterfly. So life of wheat plant, life of a mango plant, life of herbs, life of shrubs, trees. What is the life? And what is the age of those particular age of mosquito, age of elephant? So all those nature has controlled that particular the phenomena, and this one is the decomposers are used for destruction of those uh, living, and so producers, consumers, and decomposers. These are further three parts. So now let's this one the same thing. Producers here. One more thing is there. Energy. Capacity to do the work. How we do the work? We need the energy. We need energy in the food. That is the natural phenomena. Even plants also needs the nutrients, and we also needs some nutrients. So we eat the food, we take the drinking water, drinking milk. Other are also, so what we have to see the energy flow from one tropic level. However, producers, consumers, and decomposers, each are the trophic levels where energy is transferred, various type of energy. Here we are taking the only the sun energy. So in case of the sun energy, that sun energy is captured by various plants and they form the food with the help of sun radiation. So sun is the source of the energy. But that particular plants are further eaten by the consumers, herbivores. So definitely energy travels from producers to consumers. In case of the consumers also, the various consumers. Primary consumer, the secondary consumer depends on the primary consumer. The tertiary consumers, that depends on the primary and secondary consumers. The quaternary consumers, that depends on the, so they form a tropic level, a boundary producers, boundary consumers, boundary decomposers. In consumer, certain four boundaries: primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, quaternary consumer. Those can be seen with the help of the food chain. So food chain. Food is whatever the food is converted into the various energy, then so here 10% rule is there. That is the 10% energy rule. So this is the ecosystem, part of the ecosystem, some producers, ecosystem, then consumers, the ecosystem, producers and consumers both have the death, plants death, animal death, and those part of the plant and animals are further decomposed by various very small animals and plants, and those are the decomposers. So any of the plant dead, then that is undergo the process of the decomposition. Any of the animal dead, then there will be by nature that particular body of animal can be changed into the simpler compounds with the help of the microorganisms, with the help of the, and those are the decomposers. So what the decomposers are such which decomposes all those things, the plants and animals. So this one is the a part of the ecosystem part. Now we have to say how the ecosystem can be classified on the earth in water, different water. So that particular interaction of living with non-living and form a terrestrial part. For example, forest, grassland, the farmland, where the agriculture is produced. So farmland, this one. Then the sea, aquatic. The rivers, rivers also contains, yes, rivers also contains the animals, the plants, various aquatic animals are there and their sustainability. For example, uh, whatever the various aquatic animals, the in case of the sea, the whale fish, that is also, however, that is the mammal. The shark fish is very big, challenging fish, shark. Then other different sea animals. Sea animals, whatever those sea animals, the major one is the different types of the fishes. And then other animals are also, those are the aquatic animals. So naturally they form also the system. For example, human being and we are the part of the terrestrial ecosystem. We form whatever the colony, whatever the district itself, whatever the campus. So campus, any of the university campus, and that have the animals, that have the plants, that have the different minerals, that have the air, that have the water, that have the buildings, that have the telecommunication, different technologies, transportation. So transportation, that is also part of the abiotic component. So they form, for their human sustainability requires both components, biotic component also, and similarly abiotic. Because for the destruction of microorganisms, that must be because of the decomposers. So microorganisms also play an important role for the in the ecosystem. So based on the earth, ecosystem is the terrestrial type, and based an ecosystem form in water, that is, so other are the various example of the terrestrial ecosystem. The first one, grassland. So in India also, the various grassland areas which are present in northern side, northern India, nearby the terrain. So various grasses are there in the on the earth, on the terrestrial. So this terrestrial ecosystem are also form various ecosystem parts. Here, the grassland, mountain, desert, forest. So these are the example of the terrestrial. Then we have the aquatic, the marine, sea, oceans, freshwater ecosystem, where freshwater is there, the rivers, the pond. So these are the aquatic ecosystem. Now the this is one of I have added the different types of here, the forest, number of different plants available in the forest, then the producers, then the consumers, then the decomposer, and then the material undergo the decomposition. That then that is the cycle they form: carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, sulfur cycles. So that is because of the ecosystem. Grassland, I have earlier discussed, desert area in which various desert plants are there. Then the tundra, one of the space, a specific area, tundra region. Then freshwater ecosystem, for example, streams, various freshwater ecosystems. So they have also the plants, the animals, they have also the live and non living and non living, both are there. Then the marine, this is also discussed earlier. So now This is one of the example of the food web. How we can say the different the producers, the consumers, how we get a food web. Squirrel, birds. Birds eat something, butterfly. The frog, tertiary consumer, secondary consumer, butterfly, consumers, squirrel, in the ear, the bee, the birds, the fox, the snake. So this one clearly indicates that in an ecosystem, all those things they form a food web. So food web, different food chains connect with each other, and they form uh, a chain. So they form a web. So here we can see different food chains are there. The producer, one thing, the birds eat that particular producers. Then the snake is eaten by the which one? Snake is snake eats the birds and the eagle last stage, quaternary stage. So here eagle take the snakes. So in another way, we can see that also relates with the then here in another food web we have to see the butterfly uses various plants and plants. There is so butterfly move from one plant to another plant, and they take the food from the plants. And when butterfly in the open, and then the food this become the food of the frog, and then the food the frog food is food of the eagle. So we have to see another one plants and squirrels and then various forest animals, various wildlife animals. So this one is the one. This is the another one. The same thing. Food web. Yes, ecosystem, artificial or man-made. For example, the Suresh Gyanvihar University campus. So that is ecosystem because interaction of different living and non-living and form a whole ecosystem. The playground, the home, the ecosystem. The student learn in the campus, that is the ecosystem. They interact with non-living. So living and non-living both form a system. So here, either those ecosystems are natural or man-made. The question is there. So whether here we can see various parks, various zoological parks, various botanical parks. Your name of number of parks are there. Even some reserve parks are there. Tiger project. Why that was there? The tiger project. Sariska, Kevla there. Various migratory birds come in Kevla Dev garden. So that is the artificial ecosystem which is made by human being. How? Farmland. For example, in agriculture, a specific area is there, and then they grow the food, the plants, the food plants. They grow the cereals, and that is the farm area, farmland of the man of the agriculture man, and farmland where also animals and where also living and non-living both are interacted and form a system. So this is artificial and natural. I have earlier discussed number of Yes, thanks any of the question. Now we have to see various questions related. So here various questions, uh, you can say their answers are also given. Which of the following or uh, dissolved in the so carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, whatever the ozone, whatever the nitrogen oxide. Then one more thing is the smog. This is also the part of the environment. Smog is what about the smog? How this smog is formed? Smoke and fog. So these are the multiple choice questions. Then the which of the following are likely to be present in photochemical smog? So photochemical smog is also the part of the environment. Then we have another question. Sorry. Yes. Yes. So these are also the multiple choice questions. Which of the following air pollution control devices and suitable preparing the of dust? Here also air pollution. Then various multiple choice questions are there. Okay. So now thanks to all. Any of the question, then I can give the answer for that. Yes. Is there any questions? Best wishes or call